I never imagined that a simple dinner would become a defining moment in my relationship with my in-laws. My name is Jake, a 32-year-old software engineer, and I recently married the love of my life, Emma. She's kind, intelligent, and incredibly supportive. But her mother, Margaret, well, she's another story. Margaret is the epitome of an old-school, high-society woman who believes that wealth and status define a person's worth. From the moment I entered her daughter's life, she made it clear she didn't think I was good enough for Emma. I come from a modest background. My parents worked hard to provide for me, but we never had extravagant wealth. Margaret, on the other hand, had a trust fund, dined at Michelin-starred restaurants, and lived in a world where money was a measure of love and respect. A month after our wedding, Margaret invited us to an elaborate family dinner at an upscale restaurant, one of the most expensive in the city. What I didn't know was that I was walking straight into a trap, one that would test my patience, self-respect, and place in the family. The restaurant was opulent, with crystal chandeliers, a live pianist, and a menu that had no prices. Always a bad sign for your wallet. The entire family was there. Margaret, her husband Richard, Emma's older brother Daniel, his wife Sophia, and a few extended relatives. As we settled in, Margaret gave me a sharp look and smirked. "Jake, since you're now part of the family, it's only fitting that you prove you can provide for my daughter." I felt a pit in my stomach. "Of course," I said cautiously, sensing where this was going. She leaned back, her voice dripping with condescension. "Then you won't mind covering the bill tonight?" I glanced at the menu. Even a simple appetizer could set me back $100. The main courses? I didn't even want to guess. My monthly rent was probably cheaper than what this meal would cost. Emma squeezed my hand under the table, her eyes silently apologizing. I could tell she hadn't been warned about this either. Margaret continued, loud enough for the entire table to hear. "It's a tradition, you see. Every man who joins our family treats everyone to dinner to show he can take care of his wife. Isn't that right, Richard?" Her husband gave a tired nod, clearly uninterested in the spectacle. I knew I had two choices: pay the bill and let Margaret walk all over me, or stand my ground in a way that wouldn't make things worse for Emma. That's when an idea struck me. I smiled and put my menu down. "You're absolutely right, Margaret. It's important to show one's financial stability. But traditions should be fair, don't you think?" She raised an eyebrow. "What do you mean?" "Well," I continued, "since this is a family tradition, I assume Daniel also paid for everyone when he married Sophia?" The table went silent. Daniel shifted uncomfortably, and Sophia shot a glance at Margaret, who suddenly looked like she had swallowed a lemon. Well, things were different then," Margaret stammered. "Oh? How so?" I asked innocently. "If this is truly a family tradition, then surely it applies to everyone equally." Emma barely contained her smile. She knew exactly what I was doing. Margaret huffed. "Fine. If you're not willing to be a provider, perhaps you don't belong in this family." I took a deep breath and leaned forward. "Margaret, I love Emma with all my heart. I will always provide for her, emotionally and financially. But respect goes both ways. If this dinner is a test, then I respectfully decline. My worth isn't measured by the size of my wallet, but by how I treat your daughter and this family." The table was deathly silent. Richard, who had been passive until now, finally spoke. "You know what? I like this guy." To everyone's shock, he pulled out his credit card. "Dinner's on me." The rest of the night was awkward for Margaret, but the mood lightened considerably. Richard even engaged me in a deep conversation about business and investments, showing genuine interest in me for the first time. Afterward, Emma hugged me tight. "That was amazing," she whispered. "I've never seen anyone stand up to her like that." Over the next few months, Margaret tried to undermine me a few more times, but after seeing that Emma and I were truly a team, she eventually backed off. As for Richard, he started inviting me to private business meetings, impressed by my confidence and refusal to be walked over. Funny how standing your ground can change everything. Margaret never admitted she was wrong, but she treated me with begrudging respect after that. And while I'll never be her ideal son-in-law, at least I know that I earned my place. Not through money, but by proving that real value isn't in a bank account, but in integrity and love. A year later, I took the entire family, including Margaret, out to dinner. But this time it was on my terms. I chose a cozy, family-owned restaurant, the kind where laughter fills the air and meals are made with love. And when the check arrived, I happily paid it. Because respect, when freely given and earned, is worth more than any expensive dinner.